Yes, sir. Good morning.
Okay. So on Saturday's class, we saw some time intelligence functions, important functions like dated, parallel period, same period last year, YTD, MTD, QTD, also along with dates MTD, dates QTD, and dates YTD. Okay, so let's move on for the creation of the reports. So we are on this executive summary page where we're creating some visuals along with some KPIs. Okay, so in this visual, we create this particular KPI, monthly order quantity, right?
Screen.
Which visual is this? Yeah, I'm sharing. Okay, screen visible है? Online student, screen visible है?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So let's say we create this particular. Just a minute. We create this monthly order quantity KPI, which showcase our latest month order quantity along with its goal. Our goal is previous month order quantity. Same way, we need to create the KPI for the revenue and the return quantity, right? We don't create any measure for the return quantity yet. So let's create the return quantity. So where we get this return quantity? From the return fact tables, right? We have the return quantity column over here. So we can sum up these columns to get the return quantity. So in your calculations, I'll say new measures and create a new measure for the return quantity. Say new measure. Okay. My measure name is will be the return quantity or total return quantity, whichever suitable. Return quantity equals to, it says sum of return facts return quantity, which is nothing but my total return quantity. Anyway, we getting this return quantity. I wanted to calculate the return quantity for the previous month. So how can we do this? Which functions we can use? I want to calculate return quantity for previous month. So I'll say return quantity previous month equal to, simply say calculate. My expression will be the return quantity, and I'm using date add function in order to calculate the previous month return order quantity. So the first parameter, I'm passing my calendar dim date ka column, and then I'm passing number of interval is in -1 and interval in terms of month, which gives me a previous month return order quantity. Again, I'm choosing this particular KPI. Click on the KPI, visuals appear on the screen. I put the values in the sections. So in the values sections, I'm putting my return quantity. Okay. And in the trend axis, I'm putting my start of the month. And in the target sections, I'm putting my return. gives me some values in this card which one over here. Okay. So what this value gives me 167. Which month this return quantity is? Yeah, but in the slicer selections, I'm not selecting any year, any month, and nothing. So 167, what do you think on which month this is? This is the latest month from the year. Let's say in the year slices, how many years we have? If we drop down this, we have 15, 16, and 17. So if I'm talk about max year, it is 2017. And if I'm selecting 2017, you see still the value is not changing. If I drop down this month, what is the highest month over here? June. So if I click on the June, you say the value is nothing changing. So this values give you latest month from the max year, max month. Okay. So KPI visual always give a max month or max year value. Whatever trend axis you put a yearly value or weekly or monthly. Based upon your trend axis, it gives you a value from that particular max value. So we're putting a start of the month, so it means it gives you a max of that particular month from the max year. 2017's max month is June, so it gives you a June. If I selecting 2015 over here, it gives you a December 2015's value. Okay, so why this KPIs is is that like way? Because KPI is always showing you a latest data. So when in actual scenario, when you create a report, what is happening? The reports is kind of a latest, right? So day by day company का data add होता जाता है, and it will be showcasing you a latest values over here, updated values. Let's say मेरा कल का कुछ सेल बढ़ा है, let's say, or I'm on August month. So till the 5th of August, what is the value over here? It will be showcasing you from the 1st of the August if the data is heavy. Okay. So simply I'll just copy the formatting for this. This format, just do the formatting for the borders and all these things. So sometimes let's say it gives me a values like 167 is in red color and my goal is 169. So what it's setting is your current month value is 167 and your goal is its previous month value is 169. So you are not achieving it. So that's why it is showcasing in a red color. But what if the different scenario, right? Like on when we see the visuals, that I also explain that sometimes this color combination is not correct for your analysis. Might be this 167 you wanted in a positive value as a green color, and the whatever the uh, best example is the accidental cases, right? So if you are setting, you are doing the analysis for the accidental cases, and the value you got over here as the whatever the that particular month accidental happen, so it gives you a target that we need, you have the target to reduce the accident, not to increase the accident. So in that case, if you're not achieving the goal, you mean to say you are good. So it showcasing needs to be in green color, so that we can handle over here. In the trend axis we have this, you see the high is good. If you wanted to say low is good, then the this values will be changing. Let's say value, not the values, the color will be. So low is good, then in that case 167 will be in the green color. So you can set the color accordingly if you need to set up good colors and bad colors in which color. So you can do this over here. So in our case high is good, I'm putting the same way. Okay, so this target label, you see this goal is appearing over here. You see the goal is over here as a label. So you can change it if you wanted to put something value like instead of goal, you wanted to put some previous month or written quantity like this, something explanatory, or just put it a target. So I can remove this goal and put target. So instead of goal, it appears as a target. Okay. So I'll go to the my title and I'll just change to the monthly written quantity. Yes. Yes. Monthly written quantity. Fine. This is okay. You understood this? Okay. So let's next do the same way. I need to set for the monthly revenue also, right? So I'll just copy these visuals in order to again. I'll just copy this and just arrange it. Okay. So in this sections, I wanted to put the revenue. So we also have the measures to create, right? Revenue we already created. So I'll just put over here instead of return quantity, I'll put my revenue. Trend axis will be the same, and instead of target value, I'm putting my previous month. So I think we already calculated previous month. Now let's calculate again. Just say new measure. Say revenue previous month. Again calculate. My expression will be my revenue measure, and I'm again using date add in order to apply some filtrations or a date. Simply say calendar tim date is my date column. Interval will be -1 and interval in month. Okay. So we have this revenue measures and we just put this in the target value. It will be give me an overall value that 1.83 million use your current month sale and your goal is 1.77. You are achieving good, which is more 3.3% more than the goal you set up. Okay, understood? Okay, fine. Also, let's say I wanted to uh, create one more KPI. Hence, also for the wanted to set for the cost itself. Okay, so instead of this monthly, I putting a cost over here and just remove this. Create one more measures. This time I'm calculating previous month cost. So let's say cost previous month is equal to calculate my cost and saying date and interval will be -1 interval in a month. Okay, say select this and I'll just drag this over in the target section. So again, this gives me a value that again now for this particular scenario, what is this? This is a good way to showcase, right? Or not? Because we are showing over here a cost. Let me rename this values. It is not a return quantity, it is a revenue. Go to the title, say it's got return, and just rename this as a revenue. Okay, and this is my cost. Okay, So your target is 1.02 and you are doing 1.06. So practically अगर हम देखें कॉस्ट हम रिड्यूस करना चाहेंगे ना कि बढ़ाना चाहेंगे. So in this particular KPI we can change this analysis to low is good. ठीक है, fine. So let's create one more KPIs. I wanted to showcase over here. We do the, let's say we doing the analysis for the overall business, right? So I wanted to see the my product or my any product which is having the highest revenue. That particular products I wanted to highlight. So over here, this particular product is the highest revenue, or any product that is having a highest profit. अंडरस्टूड. सो इन मीन टू से मैं यहाँ पे एक कार्ड विजुअल लूँगा और उस कार्ड विजुअल में, बिकॉज कार्ड विजुअल शोकेसिंग यू ओनली वन वैल्यू, right? Your card visual showcasing you only one value. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a card visual over here, and in that particular card I'm showcasing your top product which is having the highest revenue and highest the profit. Okay, so let's do this. मैं यहाँ पे एक card visual ले रहा हूँ, इस card visual. So in the card visuals you putting the fields, right? So what needs to showcase over here, आपको क्या दिखाना है कार्ड के अंदर, प्रोडक्ट के नाम दिखाने, राइट? Say putting over here my product name. So product name will be in the product dimension table. This is my product dim, this is my product name. Drag this field. So जब आप कार्ड के अंदर कोई कॉलम्स को पुट करते हो तो इट विल बी शोकेसिंग यू फर्स्ट प्रोडक्ट नेम. फर्स्ट प्रोडक्ट नेम इन द सेंस आपके पास लेट्स से थाउजेंड्स ऑफ प्रोडक्ट्स यू हैव, जो लिस्ट रहेगी. लेट मी okay, so let's say we have a table visual, and in the table visual let's say we drag this product name. You see a list is coming up. The first product is all purpose bike stand. Why this is first? Because it is in the sort order for the alphabetical. That's why all purpose bike stand is in the first place. So this card visual showcasing you the first value, but you wanted to apply some filtrations or on the top of it, because you don't want a first value, you wanted a one value or any top products that is having the highest revenue. So how we can do this? You're using this filters paint, right? We saw this filters on the visuals, filter on the page, and filters on the all the pages. So we can apply the filters on this particular visuals in order to get the required results. कैसे करेंगे? Let's say this particular visual showcasing me first product name. I'm saying fine. You just again drag this product name over here in this add data fields, product name, and I'm applying filters on this. I don't want all the products, I want a top product. Okay, I want a top product, top one products I want, right? The same filtrations we apply for this visual also, right? Top 10. The same way we applying this particular filtrations on the card visual, that we wanted to showcase a top one value, but on the basis of what? On the basis of revenue. So I'm dragging the revenue measure by value sections, and I'll say apply the filter. So it gives me a mountain 200 black 42. This is the product which is having the highest revenue. If we wanted to compare in this particular sheet, let's say we drag revenue also. I'm dragging the revenue also, and if I in the descending here, you see this mountain 200 black 42 having the highest revenue. So which this particular card visual showcasing you the value, but it is not a static one. Let's say you go for the 16, it is for the 16 ke liye bhi, you see this 46 is the highest one. So it is a dynamic based upon your filtration criteria. This product will be changed and giving you a actual value, which product is the highest. Okay, so I'll just keeping it simple. So remove the font, predict sum of 220 to see the value. 25 will be fine. Okay, and go to the visual sections again. I don't want this category label, first product name. I'll just remove this. I don't want it. I'll go to the title sections. I'll on the title, I'll give some name. I'll say top product by revenue. Just it as a header. This particular visualizations we can set it a background also. Say I'll search for. So my background currently is in white, so I can put it any color. Say this one. Okay, and my borders on this particular color. So this is my card visuals, which gives me a top product by revenue. Is it clear? How we can apply the filtrations on this particular card visual. Okay, so let's do one more visuals. Let's say I wanted to showcase uh, country wise revenue on my or country wise order quantity on a map visuals. So I'll just select the map visuals and putting my values over there. So I'll go to the territory team. We drag this country to the location and we tag some, let's say, order quantity. We have the total order quantity. We'll putting this into the bubble size. Okay, so this particular bubbles gives you, we change the bubbles colors. So instead of this colors, I'm putting this. Okay, so let's say I'll go to the title section, do some formatting, just center it, go to the visual borders, I'll on it. This one corners will be 10. Okay, so this visuals gives me kind of a look. Now if you create the reports, let's say we created this report, let's add some more filtrations. Let's just copy this and adding some more value. Let's say I'm putting a date column over here. Let's see what happens. So we have this calendar team and I'm putting, instead of month name, I'm putting this date. Okay, so I'll go to the format, slicer setting. Instead of drop down, I'm saying between. Okay, so gives me kind of name. I'm selecting all the visuals again. Say go to the format, align it, distribute horizontally. Okay, so this particular visual is giving me a range. Let's say मुझे किसी particular date से लेके एंड डेट तक एनालिसिस करना है. सो आई कैन पुटिंग माई डेट्स ओवर हियर. जैसे 1 जनवरी से लेके मुझे एनालिसिस करना है 10 जनवरी तक ही, 17, or whatever values you can put the values over here in the date section. So between that dates it gives you a result. So as per the requirement you give that kind of a slices also, not only the year and monthly wise slicing and dicing of the report, but also based upon a particular date criteria also you provide for the filtrations. Just remove the filtrations. So this is the first page for the executive summary that we created. Let me add some data labels for this also. Okay, and now let's understand more about some of the topic called conditional formatting. Let's say I'm having this matrix visuals and I'm showcasing some order quantity, revenue, cost, values over here. Let's talk about the order quantity. So let's say माई क्लाइंट और मेरी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जिनके लिए मैं रिपोर्ट बना रहा हूँ उनकी कुछ रिक्वायरमेंट है और उनको ऐसे प्रोडक्ट हाईलाइट करने हैं या ऐसे ऑर्डर क्वांटिटीज़ को हाईलाइट करना है यहाँ पे जो लेट से 1000 से कम है. So whichever the order quantity is less than 1000, let's say I wanted to highlight this in a some color, or I wanted to put some logo over here. So how can we do this? I select this particular visuals. I'll go to the my values sections where I'm putting the values, total order quantity, revenue, and cost. You see a small drop down over here. If you drop down this, its options are there, but we are mostly focusing on these options. Conditional formatting. If I see the conditional formatting, again there is a drop down: background color, font color, data bars, icons, and web URL. So what is this background color for? Let's say I'll select this background color. One pop-up will be appear over here which you wanted to apply some rules on that particular order quantity in order to showcase the background color. So I'll do that. Let's say in the gradient sections I'm putting my rules. I'll put this format style as a rules. Apply to, let's say over here two options are there: values only, values and totals only. So in your matrix visuals it's showing your subtotals, totals, and grand totals, and values also. So whatever conditional formatting you are applying, it is only for the values or the values and the totals only. So I'm interested in the values only. I don't want to apply it for the totals. So I'll say apply to values, which field. So the total order quantity is my field, and I'll set as some rules over here. Let's say if the value is greater than or equal to, less than, equal to kind of a thing, I can put the values. Let's say if the total order quantity is let's say greater than equal to 0, it is not a number, it is not a percent, it is a number, and less than or equal to, let's say 1000, I can put like this 1000. Then what numbers, what colors I want it in the background. Let's say I wanted this color as a, say this one, it's not visible then. Put this one. ओके मैंने एक रूल यहाँ पे सेट किया है कि अगर मेरी ऑर्डर क्वांटिटी की वैल्यू ये 0 या उससे ज़्यादा है एंड 1000 से लेस है, सो आई जस्ट गिव अ रेंज ओवर ईयर. 0 से लेके 1000 के बीच में अगर कोई वैल्यू हो तो उस पर्टिकुलर वैल्यू को क्या करो, तुम इस कलर से बैकग्राउंड दे दो उस पर्टिकुलर सेल को. लेट्स से व्हाट इज हैपनिंग, आई जस्ट गिव ओके. यू सी ओवर हियर इन योर visualizations, particular cell is highlighting that particular color. So why we use this? Sometimes we need to highlight something in your reports which gives you a prominent look in your dashboards or the reports, right? Which give extra information to the clients. They, let's say they don't worry about this all other products, they need to focus on these products which is having the less order quantity, right? So something you do in a conditional formatting, so in order to give a extra informations or highlighting something important in your visualization, so that part is doing using the conditional formatting. Okay, so like this a background color, I can also put some let's say icons also. So again I'll go to this conditional formatting. If you already applied a conditional formatting on that particular measures, it's giving you two options now: remove the conditional formatting, whatever you apply, or apply again conditional formatting or something new conditional formatting you wanted to apply. So I'll say, I'll just remove this, for example, I'll say all, and I'm applying now conditional formatting. Let's say I wanted a font color. So again, font color is nothing but what the values currently the font is in the black color. So if you're setting a rules over there, that particular sales font is highlighting a different color, whichever you give it. Like हमने जैसे अभी background color के लिए font जो color दिया था, I'll put that color in the same rules for the font color. It will be highlighting font as this particular color. So that's what this font color gives me a result. What about these data bars? If I on these data bars values only lowest and highest values are there, it gives them a default value selection. I'm putting that way only. I'll say okay. You can see a kind of a bar is appearing inside that particular cell. If I let's say मैंने इसको descending किया example, तो बार ये highest to lowest दिखा रही है मुझे, right? So bars showcasing me highest to lowest. So that kind of analysis also you provided in your matrix visuals or any other visuals where the conditional formatting is possible. uh, Again, this is for the bars, data bars. If I again go to this particular conditional formatting, I'll say remove this conditional formatting and I'll take the options for those icons. Let's say I'll selecting the icons, then you get the list of the icons over here in order to put the things. So let's say again we are setting the rules, total order quantity, then these icons you are looking for. Let's say मैं up and down arrows को use करना चाहता हूँ. If the order quantity is less than 1000, so I'll just putting a downwards red color arrow, and if it's upwards I'll say green color. So the icons I wanted right of the data, icon alignment will be the middle, style I'm putting this, and it gives you some kind of informations. Yeah, that's that way you can put the rule. So I don't want this kind of so I'll say instead of number percent, I'll say number, and let's say less than, say 1000. Again it is a number. If the order quantity is 0 to 1000, I'll say downwards arrow. You can change this to anything. Again drop down है तो आप यहाँ पे choose कर सकते हो whatever the formatting you wanted to put. And if the values is let's say 1000 और उससे ज़्यादा है, let's say, and less than equal to let's say max, this is my number for this particular. Let's say I'm providing upward arrow. If I say okay, you can see your conditional formatting apply to that particular cell. So this 9153 is greater than 1000, that's why it will be upward arrow. But if I'm talking about this 469 which is less than 1000, so it will be a downward arrow. So kind of icons भी आप put कर सकते हो in the conditional formatting. Again it is not specific to the rules. Always rules ही set करना है आपको, ऐसी ज़रूरी नहीं है. Sometimes you can let's say for example let's talk about this order quantity. Let's say तो this accessories, bikes and clothing का जो color है, so you can put the conditional formatting using a measure also. Let's say मुझे इनके colors change करने हैं based upon some specific palettes I'm having. तो अभी के लिए मेरे पास लेट्स से यहाँ पे 3 ही ऑप्शंस है, बट हो सकता है कि मेरे पास ट्री मैप में मल्टीपल ऑप्शंस हो. उस टाइम पे मुझे कुछ पर्टिकुलर कंडीशन दे के कलर्स को कंट्रोल करना है कि अगर मेरी लेट्स से ऑर्डर क्वांटिटी जो है वो ऑर्डर क्वांटिटी लेट्स से 5000 के आसपास हो तो मुझे ये कलर चाहिए, 5000 से 10,000 हो तो ये कलर चाहिए. सो आई कैन create measures, and in the measures I can use those functions, like let's say I'll putting some switch functions, and I think we don't see the switch function na? So, yes, someone is asking something. Okay. Okay. So let's understand quickly this particular functions, switch functions, and the if function. That is the most important one. So let's understand this. So in Power Query, when we do the operations in Power Query, we created one calculated column, right, using if statement. कौन सा था? एनुअल इनकम का एक कॉलम था जिसको यूज करके हमने क्या किया था, इफ कंडीशंस पुट की थी वहां पे, एंड इट विल बी क्रिएटेड वन कॉलम्स होते हैं. So same columns we can create using a DAX function. So for this function, जैसे हमने Power Query में if statement use किया था, we can also use if statement over here. How can we do this? Let's say I'll go to this my customer table. I think it is in the customer table, correct? So I'll open my customer dimension, and if we not wrong, based upon this annual income, we set up the column, right? This one, income level. Okay. And what is the rules that we set for this? If the income level is greater than or equal to 1,50,000, then give me a very high. If it is greater than equal to 1 lakh, then give me high. If it is greater than 50,000, then give me average. If it is less than that, then give me low. So that four values we put in that conditional formatting, or sorry, not the conditional formatting, in the if statement in the Power Query, in order to create this calculated column. But if I wanted to create this using a DAX function, so how can we create this? Let's say I'll again click on the new column because I wanted to create a new column. And this time I'm saving income level. इसका नाम दे रहा हूँ मैं income level using, let's say, if. Okay. So we also have the if statement in the DAX. So if I'm selecting if statement, it gives you a scenario that you need to firstly pass the logic. Then if this logic is true, then what results you wanted? If false, what results you wanted? Okay. So simple if statement, you know, right? In the SQL also you write the if statement, simple if statement. And normally in Excel also you write if statements. You checking the particular logic. If it isn't true, then what value you wanted to put over in that particular cells. Or if it is false, then what value? Let's say मैं 0 1 को भी put कर सकता हूँ. Let's say I'll just checking कि मेरे एक existing cell में वो particular value available है कि नहीं है, true or false. So that kind of a logic I can put in the simple if statement. But in that case, when we are expecting to compare a multiple logics, right? इस सिनारियो, हमारे सिनारियो में हमें 3 लॉजिक चेक करने या 4 लॉजिक चेक करने, राइट? कि वैल्यू जो है वो 1,50,000 से ज़्यादा है या 1 लाख से ज़्यादा है या 50,000 से ज़्यादा है. So we are checking more logics in the same if statement. So it is kind of a nested if कहा जाता है उसको, जिसमें multiple ifs होता है, right? So how can we do this? Let's say I'm first if is my starting with this. If my first logic is what? I want to check my annual income, right? So I'll just calling my that particular name. Let's say customer dim my annual income column. I'm saying if this particular annual income is greater than equal to, so I can put this way, greater than equal to, okay, what the value is 1,50,000. This is my value. So if this particular value is, this particular logic is true, then what results I wanted? Very high, right? So we'll say very high. So we cover with the first logic. But what about this particular logic is false? ये उसने फर्स्टली चेक किया 1,50,000 से उसको वैल्यू मिली नहीं. देन आपको यहाँ पे जब मैं कॉमा देता हूँ तो आपको ये पर्टिकुलर रिजल्ट इफ फॉल्स की जगह पे you wanted to put a new if statement to again check for the new logic. So I'll say shift enter. I'll go to the next line. Instead of below that if, I'll just little bit more to understand that this is my parent if and this is my child ifs. So I'll say again if my second logic is, let's say again my customer dim annual income is greater than equal to 1 lakh, then what results I wanted? Again, this particular logic for if this particular logic is true, then what results you wanted? Results, if true, then I wanted a high, right? I'm saying if this particular logic, if the annual income is greater than 1 lakh, then give me high. Now if this fails, then again I need to put for the again next if. For previous if false statement, I need to put to check another conditions. My customer, my annual income is greater than equal to 50,000. This is my last condition. If this true, then give me average, right? Otherwise, give me what? Low. Clear है ये? Understood? I'm just closing this my first if, the latest if, उसके बाद वाला if. You see this, ये parenthesis चेक करो, ये और ये कैसे हाईलाइट हो रहा है कि जब आप क्लोजिंग करते हो parenthesis को तो ये हाईलाइट होगा. जैसे कि फर्स्ट मैंने ये क्लोज किया तो ये if क्लोज हुआ, देन आई नीड टू क्लोज द अबव if, देन अगेन अबव if. ये इंपॉर्टेंट है क्योंकि अगर ये parenthesis मिस हो गए तो रन नहीं होगा. I'll say enter. Let's check for this. You see, this is our actual that we calculated using Power Query, and this is one using the if. Let's filter for this. Let's say I'm filtering for very high. So see, income level using if also giving me the same results, very high. Understood? So this if statement is called as a nested if. If के अंदर if है तो इसको हम कहेंगे nested if. But sometimes nested if is very hard to understand. अभी यहाँ पे 3-4 लॉजिक है, सो ठीक है, आप अंडरस्टैंड कर सकते हो. समटाइम्स इफ्स कंटेन 15, 20, 30, 50, हंड्रेड्स ऑफ लॉजिक्स आर देयर. सो अगर वैसा सिनारियो है तो क्या होगा कि इफ अंडरस्टैंड करने के लिए इजी नहीं जाएगा, या जो बंदा लॉजिक लिख रहा है उसको वो क्लोजिंग करना, कौन से स्टेटमेंट को कहाँ पे क्लोज करना है, ये थोड़ा क्रिटिकल है हैंडल करने के लिए, नेस्टेड इफ पर्टिकुलरली. सो नेस्टेड इफ के लिए हमारे पास एक अनदर ऑप्शन है switch. Okay, so same columns we can create using switch with more easier way. कैसे? Let's say I'll again create a new column using a switch function. Particular this time I'm saying income level is equal to, let's say I'm saying this time income level by switch. This time I'm saying switch. Switch क्या करता है? Returns a different results depending on the values of expression. इसका मतलब है मैं यहाँ पे switch में एक expression दूंगा, वो expression मतलब इनसे लॉजिक चेक करने के लिए, and if it is true give me this particular value. कैसे? So I'll say simply saying switch true. यहाँ पे देखो मैं ऐसे लिख रहा हूँ कि switch true, comma true is my expression, and later on I'll say if customer annual income is greater than equal to 1,50,000, अगर ये लॉजिक है, ट्रू है, यू सी वैल्यू प्रोवाइड किया आपने, रिजल्ट क्या चाहिए, द ग्रीन, द ब्लू इज हाईलाइटेड इन द रिजल्ट सेक्शन नाउ. सो दिस इज योर वैल्यू कि अगर कस्टमर का एनुअल इनकम इज ग्रेटर देन 1,50,000 है तो गिव मी वेरी हाई. कॉमा नेक्स्ट लॉजिक, कस्टमर का एनुअल इनकम अगर 1 लाख से ज़्यादा है तो गिव मी हाई. Again my next logic, customer का annual income greater than equal to 50,000 तो give me average. Else, this is your else statement, तो मैं यहाँ पे दूंगा else gives me low. So comparatively if switch पे लिखना easy है, आप जस्ट लॉजिक की देते हो क्या वैल्यू चाहिए. इफ आई हिट एंटर, यू सी अगेन दिस स्विच भी मुझे सेम रिजल्ट देगा. बट इंस्टेड ऑफ यूजिंग अ नेस्टेड इफ or creating a complications, you use the switch functions instead of nested if. अगर if दो या तीन है nested, it is fine, but अगर multiple ifs है, nested if से query complicated हो रही है, you can use switch function at that time. It is not like that कि यहाँ पे true ही लिखना पड़ेगा आपको always. You can use this as a आप particular logic check कर सकते हो यहाँ पे, जैसे कोई वैल्यू भी दे सकते हो यहाँ पे ट्रू की जगह पे. बेसिकली दिस इज व्हाट ये क्या चेक कर रहा है कि अगर दिस स्टेटमेंट इज ट्रू है तो ये वैल्यू. बेसिकली यू आर स्पेसिफाइंग दैट कि अगर वट एवर लॉजिक ये जो वैल्यू मैं दे रहा हूँ, ये लॉजिक यहाँ पे दे रहा हूँ, ये अगर ट्रू है तो गिव मी दिस, अगर ये ट्रू है तो गिव मी दिस. आप फॉल्स के लिए कुछ नहीं कर रहे हो, आप बस वैल्यू दे रहे हो कि अगर मेरा ये लॉजिक ट्रू है तो मुझे क्या चाहिए. सिंपल एज. अंडरस्टूड दिस. सो इफ एंड स्विच समझ में आया. Both are used for the creating the calculated columns, uh, or sometimes flag also, right? You can create some flag also. Flag किसे कहा जाता है, जो बुलियंस के फॉर्म में रिजल्ट देते हैं, जैसे 0 1 ट्रू फॉल्स के फॉर्म में. समटाइम्स यू वांटेड सम कॉलम्स इन योर मॉडल, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल मेरे पास यही अगर मैं बात करूँ इनकम लेवल बाय स्विच की, तो बेस अपॉन सम वैल्यूज हमने एनुअल इनकम की एक कॉलम के बेसिस को यूज़ करके एक दूसरा कॉलम क्रिएट किया. एंड वी कैन यूज़ दिस कॉलम्स फॉर द एनालिसिस. लेट्स से मैं इनकम लेवल बाय स्विच को या इनकम लेवल यूजिंग इफ को या इनकम लेवल को, ये तीनों कॉलम्स को, किसी भी एक कॉलम्स को मेरे फिल्ट्रेशन स्पेन में यूज़ कर सकता हूँ इन ऑर्डर टू फिल्टर द वैल्यूज़ फॉर ओनली वेरी हाई. सो उस केस में कस्टम बैकएंड में क्या होगा कि जो कस्टमर्स का एनुअल इनकम 1,50,000 से ज़्यादा है, बस वही कस्टमर्स फिल्टर आउट हो जाएंगे बेस अपॉन दैट फ्लैग. सो आप इनको एज अ फ्लैग भी यूज़ कर सकते हो. समटाइम्स फ्लैग विल बी इन 0 1 के फॉर्मेट में भी होता है कि आप पर्टिकुलर वैल्यूज़ को, लेट्स से not in this transaction table itself, in the sales fact table itself, or any dimension tables you wanted to create some flag, or transaction tables I meant to say. Let's say I'm having this sales fact transaction table, and बेसिकली ट्रांजैक्शन टेबल्स में फ्लैग्स का कोई काम नहीं होता, बट मोस्टली अगर ऐसा कुछ डेटा है जिस पे बेसिस पे, या लेट्स से इन दिस टेरिटरी डिम डायमेंशन टेबल्स वी हैव मल्टीपल रीजन्स एंड कंट्री एंड कॉन्टिनेंट. सो आई कैन सिंपली से कि अगर मेरा कॉन्टिनेंट नॉर्थ अमेरिका रहा तो गिव मी 0, अदरवाइज गिव मी 1. एंड आई कैन यूज दैट पर्टिकुलर फ्लैग इन माई विजुअलाइजेशन समवेयर टू इन ऑर्डर टू फिल्टर द डेटा. Might be this flag used in a in a some calculations you creating, or using for some kind of a filtrations in a filter panes, maybe in a visual level calculations, or page level filtrations, or in a we say that report level filtration purpose. We can use those flag created by the if statement or the switch statement for the filtrations purpose. Mostly the use case for those if and switches to create a calculated column or comparative जो कॉलम्स बोलते हैं, जिसे हम कि लॉजिक को चेक करके एक वैल्यूज को क्रिएट करते हैं. सो वी कॉल देम एज अ फ्लैग आल्सो, calculated column also. You can use those in the filtration purpose in your visualizations. Okay, fine then. हम यहाँ पे रुकते हैं आज. Okay, so tomorrow we will starting with the new page for the customer analysis. Once customer analysis then done, then we'll go for the product analysis. So all three analysis जब हो जाएंगे, then we will go for other options like यहाँ पे जो मेरे पास मॉडलिंग में कुछ ऑप्शंस है, दिस इज न्यू पैरामीटर, ये हमें देखना है. देन वी आल्सो नीड टू सी बुक मार्क्स, टूल टिप्स, कस्टम टूल टिप्स, विजुअल लेवल कैलकुलेशंस क्या होता है, वी क्रिएट द विजुअल कैलकुलेशंस, कैलकुलेशन ग्रुप्स क्या होता है. सो दोज बुक मार्क्स एंड टूल टिप्स आर द ओल्ड कंसेप्ट, वो पहले से ही है पावर बीआई में, बट visual calculations and calculation groups are the newly added in the Power BI. So Many times interviewer ask about that particular topic in the interview. Do you know the calculations group? Why you needed a calculation group, or why we use a visual level calculations? How we create a visual level calculations? So all that we can see part by part. Once this particular visualization part is over, then we will start, because sometimes we may require bookmarks or tooltips required one sessions. Visual level calculations required one session, because there are long topics and heavy to understand. Digest करने के लिए थोड़ा मुश्किल होता है. Required some time on that part. But fine, this is your executive summary page, first page. We slowly complete the 2 pages more, and then we'll go for the more concept in Power BI. Once all is done, then we'll start for the Power BI services. Okay, so almost today is what, 5, might be 10 lectures, more 10 lectures including today's. We'll finish the Power BI. Once Power BI is over, then we'll provide some project also to do. एक प्रोजेक्ट जो है आपको सबमिट करना पड़ेगा. वट एवर प्रोजेक्ट्स आई एम गिविंग, आप उनको प्रैक्टिस करो, आपके लिए यूज़ करो. बट एक प्रोजेक्ट जो है एनएमडी का सेल्स का, जो मेरे ख्याल से सीक्वल डेटाबेस अजूर का है, शायद अजूर सीक्वल डेटाबेस, उस पर जो डेटा रखा हुआ है आपको उसको कनेक्ट करके डेटा वहाँ से फेच करना है. एंड यू नीड टू क्रिएट योर ओन रिपोर्ट्स यूजिंग दैट पर्टिकुलर डेटा. सो वो जो फाइनल प्रोजेक्ट है वो आपको एनएमडी में सबमिट करना पड़ेगा. अदर प्रोजेक्ट्स जो मैं आपको दूंगा वो आप आपकी प्रैक्टिस के लिए यूज़ कर सकते हो, यूज़ केसेस और सिनारियोज, दिस व्हाटएवर. Fine then, we'll stop here.